make him play on the 5th-year option and then franchise him next year and maybe trade him next year or really, really stick it to him like that. Let's do a thought experiment. That's what they do. There's no extension. He plays on the 5th-year option. Maybe he holds out, but eventually he shows up. And how does Kyle Shanahan call the plays? Is he giving him extra targets to keep him happy? Or is he giving him less targets to make him more affordable in the offseason? Like, how does that work?
Exactly. We're talking about a receiver who potentially wants $10 million for every reception that he had in the playoffs. He had 3 receptions in the Super Bowl, 3 in the NFC title game, I think 3 in the playoff game before that, and he wants $30 million. So, yeah, I mean, and that's a great question because, Shanahan, you could argue that the one of the main arguments for not paying Brandon Aiyuk is the Niners' usage of Brandon Aiyuk. Mm-hmm. So then if he comes back and plays on the 5th-year option, they very much could control his usage. I mean, I watching Pearsall in practice, I think there's a really good chance that Pearsall gets a lot of targets. But then my friends who, are a little bit more dialed in on the targets are like, Krug, so you're saying a 4th option is going to get more targets this year than what JJ got last year, which was a super low number. So like if Pearsall does get, and my notion is that Pearsall's probably going to get more targets than you think. Well, if Pearsall gets more targets than you think, and he's the 4th option, then there's a chance that Brandon Ayuk's targets are kind of muted or
gonna decrease.
Right.
Absolutely. So what if Aiyuk goes from getting 105 targets last year to 90?
Right.
85.
And then all of a sudden they don't want to pay him because
and then he's a free agent. Like what if there's a game where he has 3 targets, 4 targets? How's he going to act if he got paid? He might be like, you know what? They took care of me. I'm a team player. I'm going to go out there and block my ass off. It doesn't matter. But they didn't take care of me and they're not getting me the ball and I'm freaking pissed about it. Like that's the kind of thing that can tear a team apart if they lose, if they're not running the table. I don't see why you would want to bring that into your locker room. It seems awful.
It seems like you could be introducing something that would be such a terrible topic to get into and one that you don't want any part of.
And also it's like, if Kyle's just going to call a bunch of passes for Aiyuk to keep him happy, is that in the best interest of the team? That's not how they play.
Yeah. And that's now we're not trying to win games. We're trying to manipulate stats for contractual, satisfaction here or there, or manipulation.
Or keep a disgruntled wide receiver happy because we couldn't take care of him financially. Like,
right. So we'll we're not going to pay him. We're going to force him to play in the 5th-year option, but then we're going to sit there and try to help him out next year by
giving him a lot of passes so then we can trade him for more. But really that takes me out of my rhythm as a play caller because I'm better when I'm just giving the ball to McCaffrey. But
yeah,
I mean, it just seems like it's all wrong.
Well, and then you also got to kind of wonder too. I mean, I don't want to, claim that the nefarious things are going on, but I would love to hear the Niners or somebody with the Niners, Kyle, John, Parag, anybody, Jed, anybody with the Niners, Guido, somebody come out and explain to me the strategy of making Aiyuk, or waiting to pay Aiyuk. Because the Niners are they waiting because they want to wait? Because they've got the ultimate, hammer over him as far as the 5th-year option and the tags? Or are they trying to get a deal done and he's making them wait because he wanted to see where the market went, knowing that it was only going up? I mean,
the fact that they wait, but the fact that it took so long with Bosa and Debo and Kittle makes people feel like this is how the Niners do business.
Right. But also I kind of wonder if you don't want to pay him crazy money, and the Niners knew that Jefferson, I mean, there were articles written 6 months ago that Jefferson was going to get $35 million per year. And it came out by Ian Rappaport after the combine that Aiyuk's camp wanted to wait until all the wide receivers in this cycle had been taken care of before he addressed his contract. So he wanted to wait for the market to reset itself multiple times, and it has, and it's gone up. But it makes you wonder what's the wisdom on the Niner front in waiting. If they wanted they want to pay $26 million, as Silver's indicated that they've offered. Why didn't they get aggressive and try to get that deal signed when the $26 million was the going rate? Why wait until last year? Why wait until the 11th hour and the going rate's quite a bit over that, and then, kind of get played? I mean, are we supposed to believe that the 49ers strategy that they utilize with Bosa and Debo, and that they appear to be utilizing here with Aiyuk, of kind of waiting to the 11th hour, is that just burning them this time around, and they were unaware of it? That doesn't seem likely.
You're starting to see teams smarten up and extend wide receivers and quarterbacks after 3 years instead of 4 first-round picks, like Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Nico Collins, all extended this offseason. Forget Nico Collins. Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith were first-round picks. So if the Niners had them, they wouldn't have extended them. But Philly and Miami did. So that, to me, is the smart play, because if they were to wait to next year, then those two would have gotten even more expensive, just because the cap's going up and the market's exploding. So the Niners, if they were smart, they could have offered Brandon Aiyuk $25 million last year. He probably would have accepted it. Now, a second-team All-Pro season later, and the market exploding, and the Niners are like stuck in 2023, trying to offer 2023 prices. It doesn't work.
I'd also love to know what the Niners' internal analytical division of people feel about this, because I'm starting to see the picture clarify itself as far as the league's concerned. For years, nobody wanted to pay. For years, running backs went really high. Eric Dickerson was the second pick in the draft. Now it's like running backs are never going in the first round, and they've been completely devalued. Well, we're starting to see that with receivers. The receiver market's gotten way out of hand. I went and looked up this morning the top 25 paid receivers in the NFL. And of the top 25 paid receivers in the NFL, at least the list that I saw, there might be a couple of guys, there could be a newer list, but I think this was a pretty recent list. Of the top 25 wide receivers, guess how many of the top 25 wide receivers won a Super Bowl, after they got paid, while they're making monster bucks?
4.
That's exactly right. 4. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin with Tampa when they beat KC, Cooper Kupp with the Rams, and then Tyreek Hill. It's actually technically 3, because Hill wasn't paid and really broken off.
Hill was not making big bucks when he won.
Yeah, he was not making big bucks, but he eventually got paid big bucks. But you're right. It's actually 3. It's Evans, Godwin, and Kupp, and eventually Hill, got paid, but he technically won a Super Bowl. But the rest of these guys, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Adams, Metcalf, Debo, Ridley, Scary Terry McLaurin, Diggs, Higgins, none of these guys have won. So I'm kind of wondering if the analytic people that the Niners seem like have more of a say in their drafting and in their player acquisitions are looking at the wide receivers and just going, you know what? With as many top-tier players as we have, and with a quarterback that may cost us $60 million, we can't afford Brandon Aiyuk. And so let's just let this thing, he wants to let it play out so he gets top dollar. I guess we'll just go along with that, and then we'll make a dramatic move at the end. I mean, unless, I don't know about you, I don't see the Niners bridging this gap and signing him before, and they got 6 weeks to do it before camp starts. And I guess there's some date he has to come in by, right, to not waste the year. So I don't know if that's week 4 or 8, 6. I don't know where that is, but
there's a couple directions the Niners could have went with this. They could have said, Brandon, you're irreplaceable. We're going to get this done early in the offseason. Here's $30 million a year. You're so irreplaceable to us. Or, man, wide receivers are a dime a dozen. You're good, but there's a lot of good wide receivers every year in the draft. We're going to draft one. They drafted 2, one in the first round. I think they've made it really clear where they stand. Like, they want Brandon Aiyuk at their price, and they, for some reason, think Brandon Aiyuk is going to meet them at their price. I guarantee he won't. And eventually, they're going to figure out, like, this isn't going to get done. Maybe they figured that out this week. And maybe a trade will happen now that they have seen Ricky Pearsall in person and like him.